What up, everyone? So, for those of you pushing your ass off, I have big news. One, you're doing good, especially if your eyes turn out to be like mine. I don't know if you guys can see them. They're really glossy and shot out. This one's actually like swollen on the upper half. But, alright, I'm gonna put on my shades because the light from this, it's like killing my eyes. Anyways, so this is what happens. If you're fasting, it'll go by through quicker and it won't be as painful because you're fasting. So your body, what happens when you fast is you're basically depriving it of all the nutrients and sodium, all the shit that they tell you is good for you. You're stopping it from it. So what your body naturally does when you start starving it, it starts sucking on it and on all the excess and everything you already have saved inside of your body. So if you're overweight, you're going to lose a lot of weight. You're going to get skinny fast, especially if you're sun gazing and fasting at the same time. Now, I found out the hard way that if you do eat, because I did eat the other day, I had a freaking out here, it's like a sandwich, but it was like this big. It's fucking good, I'm not going to lie. But I wanted to kind of treat myself because I felt, I'm finally cracking through and I mean, there's no stopping us. There is no stopping any of us who are deciding to take this path. So, you can grub out if you want, but this is the consequence to it. I ate my frickin' sandwich and I enjoyed every inch of it. I frickin' had a chocolate cookie afterwards, and I quit eating the next day just to, re-fast again, put my body on a starving sensation. And when you do this, you will literally start to sweat, you'll burn up, you'll feel like your body's melting, to say. So that's good if you're feeling that. Now the problem is, the sandwich I had it wasn't so much that it was salty, because it wasn't salty at all, it was just full of grease. And all the stuff that they put on it, because it was like deep fried meat on it. So basically, anything deep fried already has a bunch of calcification in it. So what happened was, I ate my deep fried super sandwich, fasted the next day, started sun gazing normally, and then the third day, not yesterday, but the day before yesterday, I went hardcore. I went straight up, freaking 4 hours as much as I could, just bam, 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 going as hardcore, hardcore, hardcore. Everybody was tripping out because my eyes were bloodshot red. Yes, they will get super red, but it won't be the whole eye. It'll just be the center part, this part that's visible. The top part and the bottom part stays white. Anyways, what I found out the hard way was, if you're gonna go hardcore, you gotta go hardcore at everything. You gotta fast, you gotta quit eating, and you gotta push your ass off until... What happens is, I know I'm not the only one. There's a bunch of us who have had it happen to us, and I actually consulted somebody because yesterday I was in pain since like midnight. Not last night, but the night before, the day that I started to super sun gaze. It was around midnight that I felt my head explode and my eyes just wouldn't stop crying. They were constantly crying, 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 crying. And the problem was that after all the crying stopped, it started to feel like, if you've ever gone swimming in a chlorine swimming pool where they use a lot of chlorine to clean it out, and you open up your eyes underwater for a really long time, like, let's say I exaggerate, not in the sense that I'm telling you I'm exaggerating, but I mean I exaggerate my level of swimming. Like, I'll be in the swimming pool for like 6 hours straight up. I don't care if my hands get all pruny or whatever. I love swimming. So normally after that amount of time of swimming, I'm suffering for like 2 days with my eyes completely red, irritated, constantly crying a little bit. You can't open them, you can't even close them because they're just super irritated. Now, this happens because of chlorine. It doesn't happen because of the water. It happens because of chlorine. So, what does this mean when it happens to you when you're sun gazing? If you're sun gazing, literally, you are breaking through onto the other side now. You are pushing it to a point where your head is starting to melt all the crap that's in there. You're gonna feel a little sick, not literally like sick, like weak or anything, but like when you have mucus here and it's just constantly coming out your nose and you feel like you've got mucus in the throat, and the mucus that builds up on your eyes, it's the same crap. It's the same poison. It's all salt. That's why it burns your eyes. That's why they feel so strained and painful. But this is what it is. If you're gonna go hardcore, you gotta go hardcore at everything. Fast, and it's gonna be the only way to actually slow down, well, not slow down, to speed up the process of all of this stuff coming out of your face. Because once you stop sweating, once your body stops letting go of sweat, the only other place that they got to sweat the poison out of is your head, your whole entire head, your face, the back of your head, the top of your head, your spine. You'll notice you'll start to sweat only in the spine. So don't worry. I found out the hard way. It hurt like shit. I'm not gonna lie. It was the most painful experience I ever had. And the only way to fix it is to keep sun gazing. It's the only way. Yeah, I mean, let's say the guy I talked to, his social name is Grim Nasty, right? And we've had a few conversations. First, he thought that I was his shield or something like that, like a false informer. But I kind of explained to him. I was like, "Nah, man, I was in it. I was in Blood Over Intent. While I was in Blood Over Intent, I found out the hard way that Blood Over Intent didn't feel right to me. It just felt wrong. But I wanted it because I wanted something to get out of this world, right? So I found out the hard way that it was only the sun. The sun was the only one that was going to point me to what is real and what is true. And eventually he'll start pushing you, he'll start showing you scary faces, things like this, to make you lose fear, to make you strong enough. And that's what it is. You have to push. You have to become strong. If you don't become strong, you're not going to make it. It's not going to be easy. It's going to become harder and harder every single time. So he explained to me, he was like, all right, so were you fasting during the whole time that you were going hardcore, or did you end up looping yourself? And I was like, what the hell do you mean by looping? And it's exactly what it's saying. There comes a point where you start breaking your pineal gland and you start melting away all the poison. It starts to go away. But the moment you eat again and you haven't pushed until the point where you start kind of like bleeding out your eyes, I don't mean that literally, but you feel like you're bleeding out your eyes, then if you eat again, what you do is you go right back to the same spot. You don't push on anymore. Let's say this is your pineal gland, and it's finally cracking open. It's like crack, crack, crack. And then all of a sudden you're at that point where you're like, oh my god, I can't take it, I can't take it, I can't take it. Because that's what I felt like. I was like, God, I can't take it. This is too much. This is painful. Hurts. And then eventually yesterday I realized, because it was a whole day. It was from midnight of yesterday's midnight, like the start of yesterday, literally, until yesterday at 9 at night, when it finally stopped. But during the beginning, the whole night, I just couldn't sleep. It was painful. I just kept crying. That way, all of it would just come out of my eyes and keep pushing itself out, and it was hardcore. I mean, it was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. So eventually, yesterday, I realized, you know what? Fuck it. This is the only way. If you're gonna go hardcore, it's because you're gonna go hardcore. And so I decided to man up, grab myself by the balls, and say, you know what? Fuck it. I have to go look into the sun. And I'm not gonna lie, it was not easy at first. It hurt like shit. But after 10, 15 seconds of looking at it, and I mean, not directly. Here's like, you could look at it like this. And even like that, you could feel, you would move your head from side to side as wide as possible, and you would feel the sun penetrating your eyes, and it would feel refreshing. It would literally feel refreshing. But when I finally got some sleep yesterday, not yesterday, but like when this started, the whole evaporation of the crap poison that we have in our mind, my mind basically, I kept having a dream, like a small dream. It was just like within the 5-minute lapses that I would sleep, it would point at quit looking at the computer, quit looking at the cell phone. And if you're gonna do it, put on some shades. Use something to block the signal, the frequency, and the lighting that these devices give to you, because that's what made it so painful for me. A lot of you might experience it, and it's going to be a little bit painful, something tolerable. But if you're looking at a fucking computer screen after sun gazing, it's going to hurt like hell. That's what I screwed up on. Yesterday, while I was sun gazing, to keep pushing it, I realized as soon as the sun went down, go inside of your room and start meditating. But close your eyes, let them relax, let them, get accustomed to the darkness again. But it's not because you're going into the darkness. No, once you start sun gazing, you'll notice the sunlight will floating around in your eyesight, and sometimes it'll sit still in one spot, and sometimes it'll move out of the way, whatever. Once you get to that point where you feel this thing cracking open, what happens is this. If you keep looking at the computer screen and you sun gaze, you're gonna fuck up your eyes, but not in the way that you think. You're gonna fuck them up because they're gonna get confused. Your eyes are used to the sunlight and absorbing this energy, and in change, you go into fake light. This fake light is actually meant to screw with us. So I realized yesterday, and I literally did it. That's why I didn't get on, make any videos or anything yesterday. I got off of my sun gazing around 7:30 because of the clouds. They took over everything, and I decided, you know what? Don't look at the computer screen. Don't do anything on there. I even told my wife, I was like, hey, why don't we just cuddle for a while? Because she wanted to kind of watch a movie, and I was like, I don't really want to. I mean, I felt like it was an automatic saying inside of me that was telling me, don't look at the sunlight. I mean, don't look at the computer if you're looking at sunlight, because you're at that point where you're starting to break on through to the other side. So all of this light, this artificial light, is going to fuck with your eyes completely. And they're going to strain them far more than what you originally intended for your eyes to get strained. Now, yes, there's a few ways around it. If you're going to keep looking at social media, if you're one of those people who just has to. I don't even have a cell phone for the same reason anymore. Pull the brightness all the way down and try to use shades. It's the only way you could do it. Because, I mean, if you're constantly staring at it, if you're focused on here, you're screwing up completely. And, I mean, I know it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard not to be on these things, but it's the truth. It's what it is. I've started noticing it. I mean, shit. For some reason, 3 years ago, I lost my cell phone. Didn't have one for 2 years. I got my cell phone this year, and it was stolen within a month. No, within like 3 months of getting it. So basically, the goddess was like, and the sun was like, you know what, dude, let go of the fucking cell phone. You don't even need it. And I was like, all right. So I understood from that point on. And I'm telling you, the dream, it wasn't actually, me looking at the computer. It was me looking at the computer and then the cell phone. And it was kind of like the movie They Live. You know how they were looking at the books, the magazines? And yeah, without the sunglasses, they would see normal stuff, people posing, articles, and all this bullshit. And with the glasses on, all they see is a white piece of paper with black letters. And that's literally what I saw, like literally in the dream. It just showed me that I was looking at the computer like this, and because I have a touchscreen computer, and I was just flipping up and down, and then all I would see was just white screen, a black line down the side over here, and just, black letters written across it, but not a lot of text. And the same thing happened with the cell phone, because I tend to, at nighttime, play a game that my wife has on her cell phone. And it was weird because it looked like I was playing the game on her cell phone, but the screen was all white a black line going down vertically and a black line going down horizontally with I don't remember what it said. I just saw like a phrase written in the middle of it. And I was supposedly playing on this thing hardcore, but it was like it was kind of like a slap, a wake up slap of saying, "Hey, leave it alone, dude. If you're gonna go hardcore, it's because you're destined to go hardcore. Now just push and keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing." Now, I'm gonna be sincere. For those of you who are married, for those of you who have a spouse, it's not easy. I'm not gonna lie, it's difficult because A, they wanna live in this fake world. They don't understand what's going on. And even if you do get them into it, they're not gonna go hardcore like you. Nobody will. You're the only one who's gonna take that choice. So what I recommend is talk to them, let them know what your plan is, what your idea is, and basically make them understand it. Heck, if you're doing this, it's because you're doing it. And that's that. I basically told her this week I'm not gonna go hardcore. I'm gonna actually go, early morning, late afternoon, an hour here, an hour there, 2 hours a day, because we bought a shit ton of food and she wants me to make hamburgers and all this kind of stuff. So I'm gonna help her out this week. I'm only eating once a day. I'm not eating 3 meals or anything like that. Just once a day, and I'm not even eating a full meal. If anything, I'm having like a portion of whatever she's eating. And I know it kind of upsets her because she's like, shit, I made food for both of us. And I'm just like, yeah, baby, but you gotta understand, I'm doing this because I have to. I don't have a choice. Well, it's not that I don't have a choice. I have a choice. But I'm taking it as I don't have a choice. I'm not sitting here busting my ass off through the sunlight and quit eating food because I think it's a stupid game for me. It's not. This is the only way I'm going to stop what's going to happen. I'm going to help the others who are also doing this stop what's going to happen and possibly fuck over this entire system of world that we live in. Because that's what it is. I'm not telling you after what happens, oh yeah, you're going to be able to go to the farmer's market and eat this and buy that and start your business. None of that shit's going to matter afterwards. None of it. It's all going to stop. That's the point. We're trying to stop this. We're not trying to continue this bullshit lifestyle. That's what it is. That's what we want. Shit, I just want to be free sitting underneath a tree butt naked and enjoying myself. That's what I want to do. I mean, I'm not here because I want to change the world and we're all going to have electric cars and jobs to where it's not heartbreaking and we have enough money. Fuck all that. That's just the bullshit lie that they want you to think that is possible for a future. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's a system. So I explained to my wife this. And after that, I basically let her understand that I don't plan on stopping. I mean, this week, yeah, I'm going to lower my hardcoreness a little bit because I want to help her finish off the majority of this food. That way, at least, the last half of it, it'll last her a month, 2 months, because I'm not going to eat shit. Come next week, I'm not eating anything. I'm just going to completely go from, okay, I ate a little bit, to just completely zeros. And I'm going to go hardcore again. Yes, if you did have this problem where your eyes literally went to a point where it was unbearable, I mean literally unbearable, because I mean there was a certain degree a long time ago that I did it, and it was horrible. I mean I could handle the pain, but it was because I was fasting. If you're not fasting, it's gonna be unbearably painful. It's gonna hurt like fuck. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna hurt a lot. But you gotta man up and push through. It's the only way to do it. Now, good luck to you guys. I hope I answered a bunch of questions for a few of you who might have been worried about, painful eyes and whatnot. It's just the salt. Imagine putting a piece of salt in your eye. It's going to get irritated, it's going to burn, and you're going to cry a lot. That's what it is. It's not that the sunlight is hurting your eye. The sunlight's penetrating your eye, going through the pupil, and you'll start to feel it around the black line that's outside of the eye. You'll feel like it breathes sometimes, like air goes into it. And sometimes you'll even feel when the irritation starts that stuff is going into that black line. That's what it is. Your eyes basically suck in all the light energy that comes from the sun, feeds it to the pineal gland, makes it pump itself to the point where it starts cracking this stuff, and it starts to melt away everything. That's what it is. So you're naturally going to have this poison come out of your face, and it's going to hurt like crap at first. But I mean, if you're fasting, it won't hurt as much. It will hurt a little bit, I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to hurt. But something we got to tolerate to push on through. It's something we got to do to break all of this, all of the poison built up. Sorry about that, I had to burp. But anyways, that's what it is. It's salt. It's sodium. That's why it's called sodium. So dim, so dumb. It makes you dumb and it makes you numb. Good luck.